Earlier this year, I noticed unauthorized charges on my Wells Fargo account made out to an online sports betting website. I immediately took action by notifying my bank about those charges as fraudulent charges and filed a claim. I filed a police report, and I looked up the merchant who the charges were made out to and wrote them an email notifying them about the fraudulent activity taking place and advised them to investigate the matter and provide me with any related information regarding the account if possible. I filed a police report and provided the police with all the charges and information I had, and got a police report number that I relayed to my bank claims specialist to include in my claim. The Wells Fargo bank representative assisting me with the claim filed a fraud claim with me over the phone, including all the charges totaling $17,450, and advised me that Wells Fargo will freeze the account and make sure nothing else gets charged to my account. I was given a reference card referencing the freeze, and instructed me to make an appointment with a banker to set up a new account with a new account number. I was advised that the bank will investigate the matter within 10 business days, and if more time is needed, they will issue a temporary credit for the disputed amount. On February 22nd, I logged into my account and noticed 21 new transactions totaling $6,800 charged to my account from the same merchant dated 02/21 and 02/22 after I was given a reference, or barsh for the freeze on my account. I was devastated and called the bank to inquire about the new charges given that my account was supposedly frozen. I was given someone else to speak to that seemed to have no knowledge about the freeze or what's going on, then transferred me to online banking, who also had no idea about the freeze, gave me misleading information, and transferred me back to the claims department where they asked me the same questions as if I am starting the whole process from scratch. It was very frustrating. I then decided to call the next day and escalate the call to a higher rank specialist with no help or results other than the standard statements read to me previously. On Feb 24th, I called the bank again and reached a claims specialist. I explained my case, and I was advised that I will be issued a provisional credit to my account within 24-48 hours, which gave me some hope and relief. On business day, there were 10 of filing the claim. I still had not seen a provisional credit to my account, so I called the bank again and was told someone will give me a call within 24 hours. Nothing. I called the next day asking if I can speak to whoever is in charge of my claim, was promised another call back in the next 2 hours. Nothing. Called the next day and was told, sorry, the claim was denied, without a clear explanation why. I asked to escalate to the claim where I was asked to provide the same supporting documents of the police report and the explanation of the fraudulent charges I already provided before. At that point, it became obvious I just keep getting the runaround and thrown to someone else that asks me for the same things that I provided to the previous specialist, causing a dysfunction on the progress of investigating the matter, resulting in bogus conclusions to not honor their Wells Fargo zero liability protection policy against fraud-related matters. I just filed a complaint with CFPB. What else should I do? Get a lawyer involved.
Hey OP, I want to preface this by saying that I work for Wells Fargo credit card claims. I'm on a throwaway for pretty obvious reasons because everyone fudging hates Wells Fargo LOL. It is what it is. That out of the way, a couple things I wanted to talk to you about in regards to this claim. First and foremost, the account being frozen thing. If this was actually said and you're positive those words were said, ask for a manager when you call credit card claims. Ask the manager to escalate the issue and review the call you had with the rep that said your account would be frozen. If you can provide the manager with the date and roughly the time, that will help. However, we keep a record of all of that, so don't sweat it too much. If what you're saying is true, they may find the recording, review it, and charge off that second set of charges as a cost of business charge off, since it's based on a rep error. Keep in mind, if they use the word stop pay and not freeze, stop payments don't go into effect immediately. So getting charged so quickly afterwards isn't out of the realm of possibilities. Disabling your card, which you can do in the app or on the phone, is the best way to stop any further transactions. Although do note that recurring transactions will still hit your card if you get a new card or if you disable your card. This is a credit card thing, not Wells Fargo's policy. Secondly, a police report means absolutely nothing to banks. Literally anyone can file a police report for pretty much any reason and get a case number. Unless the police conducted an investigation, highly doubtful, and found evidence of fraud, the police report will be taken to help with evidence in case the police reach out to us, but it's not really going to do much of anything for you on its own. You talked about reaching out to the merchant about the charges. What did they say? What information did they give you? Did you inform Wells Fargo of this info? Was the account that was used in your name? If it was in your name, it points to identity theft, potentially, which is a much bigger issue that is going to take much more time to resolve. Third, you quoted 10 business days. You get correspondence in 10 business days. True, but keep in mind this isn't a McDonald's Happy Meal that got purchased on your card. It's $17,000. We consider that a high-profile case in which we usually assign a specific rep to work your case mainly for continuity purposes. You said no one ever contacted you about the case, but as stupid as it sounds, did you check your junk folder? Have you received any mail since? Final close letters have to be sent out. There's literally no possible way not to do it. It's required before we can do certain things with the case, like closing it. If you called today and asked them if they've sent you a letter or email, I'm positive they'd say yes. The last thing is a bit sensitive given the issue. However, I do think it pertinent to point out. We have a lot of tools to figure out if a transaction is fraud or not. Things like geolocation tools to see where and how the card was used. We can look up receipts for some merchants and get a full idea of what was purchased, etc., etc. I'm not saying that the system is perfect because no system is, but generally speaking, if fraud denies the claim without asking for an extension, it's because there's some pretty damnable evidence against your claim. Again, I'm not claiming that the system is perfect, but what a majority of these people in this sub aren't paying attention to is that $17,000 being denied without any extension for further research usually isn't someone just not doing their job, and high-profile cases generally get the white glove treatment. Because if we fuck them up, that's our ass, especially for that sort of money. Lastly, I just want to say that, although I can agree with a lot of the sentiment for negativity for Wells Fargo, I cannot agree with some of the comments that have been made. One person said that we run out the clock to avoid paying customers back. First off, Wells Fargo and other banks don't just eat the cost of disputes. When you file a claim, we go after the merchant's bank. We basically present our case and our evidence, and then they can respond likewise until we either A, have a resolution for or against the merchant, or B, we escalate it to Visa or whatever credit card it is, who then make the final decision on the matter and fine whichever bank loses the case. We have to follow strict guidelines that Visa and the other credit cards have put in place. This is to ensure fairness in cases for the customer and the merchant, because obviously there are customers out there that commit massive chargeback fraud. I see it literally every day. So just remember that anytime you do a dispute with any bank, your bank isn't fudging you. It's either the merchant, the specific credit card company, or your lack of evidence to support your case. Hope this helps.
My nephew, 19 at the time, had several fraudulent withdrawals in his Wells Fargo account to the tune of about $8,000. Wells Fargo was about as useful as lollipops on a boar hog. They escalated it up the ladder with people with Wells Fargo, and they all said that the withdrawals were approved by my nephew, as the act was tied to some online gaming that he didn't play. My nephew, with my sister and Bill, talked to a lawyer they knew, and they went to court. He got just about all of his dollar back, and Wells Fargo had to pay court costs and lawyer fees.
That sucks that you had to take a large bank to court. Like what? It's not like a small-town credit union. What high-level bank officer said it's worth taking a private individual to court to prevent a return of funds? Gross incompetence. Fudge that bank, lol.